Welcome everybody. So, the Pinball Post on RTX Pinball. This is episode 15, believe it or not. And man, oh man. Like always, it was an eventful week, but this week was a little more special. Taking a couple days off of work, going to Chicago for the Chicago Pinball Expo. Got exposed to a lot of other content creators such as myself. I got to meet some of you, the Beamy. You're already here. It's awesome. I got to meet you in person. That was really, really awesome. Pinball Wizard, you're here as well. Yeah, we was able to meet up. Leon, welcome to the stream, buddy. Yeah, we got lots to talk about tonight. Now, the funny thing for me is I was not able to report on a lot of the stuff that happened in the Atgames digital community because I was so entrenched in the real pinball community for the last few days. So it's been a completely different thing. Yes, and he's even better in person than on stream. The Beamy. You're the man. I appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, look. You hear the clunk, but you don't hear the squeak. I got the new chair. So, you're welcome, guys. We got the new chair. It is quite comfy, I must say. I do like it. I didn't like it at first. It's got restrictive arms, so they don't fold up or down or anything like that. So I'm stuck with what they got. Soggy Bacon says, great coverage of the expo. I still have to catch up on a bunch of the content, but what I saw kicked butt. I appreciate that, man. And yes, I cleaned that up. It's totally fine. 9 people already in the stream. So let's get started. We have a lot to cover. I was shocked at how much happened in the few days that I was gone. You'd think all this stuff could have waited a couple of days to let me report on it properly. But no, absolutely not. And I kind of prompted some of it. I probably apologize for that, and we'll cover that. The new firm rate, when I tried to pay for ArcadeNet, it took my money, but I can't play any of the tables. Rodley, you have more problems on this system. I think you have more problems than games. And I don't know if that's true or not, and I feel terrible for you, man. 1 away from 500. What's up, everybody? BiggyD, yes. Dude. At dinner time, less than an hour and a half ago, I was at 493 and saying, this is crazy. It's gone up 27 subscribers in the last 3 days, I think it's been. So let's take a moment and just say thank you to everybody who is new to the channel, anybody who has put faith in me to provide you any level of news on the pinball world. This is an exclusively pinball channel. I do not cover arcades. There is plenty of people like BiggyD that do that. You've got Papa Brad, you've got P-Dubs, you've got Michael B. the Game Genie, you've got James Hates Everything, you've got Game Fridge, you've got all these other people that cover arcade stuff. I am exclusively pinball. So anyway, welcome to the channel. I hope that you continue to like the content. I hope you don't see this stuff and go, oh, he's all digital, screw it. I hope that you can still find some value in it. The 4KP in the digital space on pinball is very much a great learning tool for anybody who's playing pinball on any level. I'm starting to do IFP events, and I can tell you that the number of hours that I play pinball and the tutorials and the skills that I get from digital do in fact translate, especially when I have the balls a little bit slower and allows me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to do in a real pin. But it trains your brain to be able to see what the ball's going to do in a real pin. And then you just have to deal with the actual physics. So I hope that you can understand that and appreciate that of this channel. I can tell you for one thing, this channel is full of very passionate people who are very, very good at pinball. Much better than myself. Soggy Bacon destroys me. Dennis B., you're way better than me. A lot of you are really good pinball players. So really good to hear. Adam Clausen, welcome to the stream, buddy. You missed the expo. It's sad. And welcome to the stream. I don't know that I've met you before. I'm glad that you're here, and I hope you appreciate it, man. Corner Kid, welcome, man. Dude, Danny, I'm still mad at you. You were there, and you didn't even check me out. I was there. You could have seen me. You could have met in person. Anyway, Wonderland Pinball. Okay, Corner Kid, is that what you're coming for? Whatever. We're gonna get to that. Also, if you want to hear exclusive information, not exclusive, but if you want to hear my expressed interest in the stuff that I did at the Chicago Pinball Expo, I did an hour-long video on that earlier today. If you have not watched it, definitely check that out. I will put a link to the video or link to that video in the description of this video. I also put a link to a lot of the creators that I met at that video, in that video. So a lot of them are represented, and I wanted to give some feedback back to them and let them know that how much I appreciated meeting all of them. So it was awesome. Yeah, you were only there like 4 hours, man. 3 words: brother in arms. RTX on top of the mountain. You're a great player. Okay, Soggy Bacon, I appreciate that. Yes, I've had a few good games on some titles. Yes, that's true. All right, first of all, what happened on the Atgames system? So we're gonna get into some of the bigger stuff that kind of broke some things later this week. But let's talk about this one. This was a big one. This happened on the 16th. This was the Thursday, the first day that I was at the event at 5 o'clock. So this happened in the evening. So we had been all day long doing our thing, going over pinball tables, and I had found an Atgames system that, as I showed in the video, did a lot of shorts on it, a lot of different shorts in general. New firmware came out. So here's what we've been looking for. It's been, It's been 6 weeks or something like that? It's been a hot minute for sure. I know we've talked about this, everything. It's been a part of my thumbnail. Looked like it was going to be a staple, like it was just going to be there all the time. So attention community, 6.1.24 is now available for the 4K devices. What is improved? New and improved. Interesting choice of words. What is new and actually fixed is what they should have said. Solenoids can now be enabled and disabled for customized play. Great for the people who bought their system and have never had access to that. You do now. You can find out what it's like to be able to play a system without hearing clank, 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 clank every single time. I know solenoids is a feature. Some of you love them. I don't. I turn it off almost instantly. But to those of you who bought a system and hated it, hopefully you'll get some reprieve. Steps Turbo, look at you. They're in there as well. Man, I got to meet Steps. That was awesome. Corner Kate, I missed out on you. Stat Stacker, I know you're Human, so you're welcome to the stream. Chalada Love Gaming, I always love the hanging in there. I love you. Bradley Smith, I wonder when Elvira is coming out. I hope it's next Thursday. I'm hearing, I think Billy Woods Mods reported last week that he expected it to only be a week, and he had a really good source for that. So we're going to go with that. He couldn't reveal the source, and I respect that. So hopefully that is the case. It's only just a week. We want Elvira. I played it. I have it on the MetaQuest 3. I played it in VR with the haptics kit for the X Arcade at the show. So it is really awesome. It plays wonderfully. There's a couple of weird bounces that you don't see in the real pin that you see in the digital one. I can go over those when we get the actual game, and I can start reviewing it on the 4KP, but there's definitely some things there. Next up, Gottlieb tables are supposedly have sound now. Chalada Love, I hope you can report that you do in fact have sound on your Gottlieb games. I know you were one, for example, that did not have sound, so that was a good one. PG, you always have your solenoids on. Sounds like an authentic pin, can't play without it. Really? Interesting. So I play in a pretty quiet home. If I had those solenoids on, first of all, my dog would have a fit. My wife would have a fit. So awesome that you can do it. Maybe you have it in a basement, a little more isolated. Maybe you can do the solenoids. That's cool. I mean, I'm glad to hear people enjoy them. I do. When I was at the show, the Atgames system had them on, but it was so much ambient noise that the solenoids were really nice. It really added to the feel. So I can certainly understand and appreciate that. But in my environment, no way. Gamer Fridge, welcome to the stream, buddy. So you guys, it's awesome, man. Some of you guys I met for the first time this week at the show, and it's good to see you guys in the chat. So, Madben Han, solenoids are too loud for me. Yep, he turns them off too. Definitely in the basement, PG. That's what I figured, man. There had to be some kind of catch. Next up, affordable financing. This has been a big one. Smoother, more reliable experience with helpful confirmations and stability upgrades. So I love the way they worded this. It is very, it's a very nice way of putting the fact that, hey, if you did affordable financing, we shouldn't be locking you out every week when you don't pay, or every month. Hopefully that's fixed. I know there's been a lot of issues with this. I've seen it all over the Atgames Discords and the Facebook groups. A lot of people very upset, very vocal. people who have completely paid off their system still getting locked out, and then they have to do a help desk ticket. Everybody knows the help desk ticket is not particularly fast when it comes to Atgames. So there's definitely some stuff there. Global credit card support. This will be a big one for our Canadian people, such as Chalada Love. I think you had found a workaround for this somehow with the buy on device. And Michael B, I know, is Canadian as well. That was a couple international folks that had some issues with the credit card support. So that will be fixed now and supported. And promotional notifications. Never miss a deal. Week 1 deals now include reminders and improved notification display. So this is an interesting feature that I want to see utilized more. I would like to see a notification that says what the Flipper Friends games are. And I would also like to see some notifications on whether or not... I almost would like to see the leaderboards expressly show the Flipper Friends ticker as an option. I think they're going to get to that point. I would really like to see a ticker that shows the global scores, your local scores, and then the Flipper Friends contextual weekly scores, if applicable to that particular table. Those would be awesome features. I don't think it'd be terribly hard, but then we've had a lot of issues with it at games. Fix Magic Castle. You are not kidding, Pete G. We have had a lot of issues with that. It's still not fixed. I hope now that the firmware is out that can be their next priority. It has to be. It has to be at games if you're watching this channel, for the love of God. And I shouldn't even use that word. For the love, please, fix Magic Castle. You're charging people for it. A lot of us have already paid for it. Just get it fixed. Get it fixed. Doesn't mean much, but get it fixed. I mean, come on. So firmware. You can see a lot of people in the chat were, yes, sound has returned on the Gottlieb tables. Thank you for confirming that, Chalada Love. Yes, it was very good. I never lost it, but I tell you, when I did my firmware update last time, I had all kinds of issues. I had it scream bloody murder at me, and I was like, what's going on? Even when the volume was on 1, it was screaming bloody murder. I'm curious if the new TMNT machine will have its own scores or be thrown in with the HD or 4K. More likely 4K, if not separate, are getting Zen. Stop nudging me. That's a good question, but I think all of the scores are going to be all together across all ecosystems very shortly, if not already. I'm starting to see that the HD scores that I put in my micro do show up on my 4K, and the stuff that I do in my 4K actually shows up in there if it's HD compatible. So I think that the leaderboards are going to be intermeshing really quickly, as they really should. When you can give a consistent gameplay from the micro over to the 4K, there's no reason to have them be separate. So I think it'd be better in the long run to combine those two, especially since we are doing Flipper Friends, which has a IFPA element to it. Keeping those separate and those HD folks not having the ability to do the 4K tables with the Zen, there definitely need to do something with all that. Fix all the broken tables. Yeah, you're right, Dennis B. There is a lot of broken tables. There's definitely something to be talked about for sure for that. So with this update, one of the biggest things they came out with is some new licensing. So new licensing refers to the fact that they're doing single tables. So this was also an issue. So in celebration time, it's celebration time. So this came out on the 17th. So this was Friday. Again, a full 24 hours later in the evening, which is interesting. We haven't seen a lot of evening releases from Atgames, but this is when they were coming out. It's celebration time. Legends Pinball 4K. We got 2 huge announcements for the 4K players worldwide, plus a massive sale. Great news for international players. They said that they've first time ever international players can now purchase pinball packs, we just talked about, on the App Store X, including single table packs. So they took all the packs that had multiple tables, including all the Zaccaria packs that I did all the reviews on. A lot of them have 8 to 9 tables or so. Those are completely separate now. So if you don't like the retro tables, you no longer have to buy them. The packs in general, the games, if you were to buy all the games, are going to be more expensive now. But now you have the ability to pick and choose the ones you like. My biggest qualm with some of the reviews that I did on the Zac packs was that for $35, you might get 3 or 4 good games out of a pack. Now you can do that for the same price and only get the 4 tables. So if you wanted all these space shuttle tables, for example, out of the one pack, I think it's pack 8, Zac pack 8, if I recall, it would still cost you $32, but you don't have all those other tables. So it's a give and a take for sure. Since the price of the tables have all gone up, they're basically all $8 now on the 4KP and all $6 on the HD. So you have to kind of weigh that. With this announcement, we did see talks of, this was again at the Pinball show, they talked about this guy here, Dinosaur Dynasty, and I'll just quick go over to the spot cam just for a quick sec. So we talked a little bit about this, the Legends 4K Deluxe X. So this is a Dinosaur Dynasty cabinet, which actually includes the sound effects kit, the arcade control panel, but it also includes 180 games. So BiggyD, I know you had talked to AVS, the company that is in question here, AVS, and they said that this was going to be $4,500, $4,500 for a digital pinball machine, loaded up with 180 plus games. I think we're up to 189 if we include Ninja Turtles currently. As I recall, this does not this does not include the Zen tables. That's another 26 to, let me think. No, there's 26 Williams tables if I recall. I think there's 50-ish Zen tables altogether. So a grand total of about 250 until Elvira comes out. So that is going to be a thing for sure. With these single tables, a lot of you had licensing issues. Now, if you updated, we updated on Thursday, right? I couldn't update. I wasn't home. I didn't have my access to the 4KP. So I didn't update until early this morning. So it was very interesting to see that, in fact, many of you that had issues with licensing, you couldn't download the games, you didn't have access to them. It was a server-side thing. Luckily, Blaze was able to report on Discord, on my Discord. And he's very prominent on Mox's Game Room Discord as well. So if you're not a part of that, definitely check that out. He's very good about the internet side of things and the code associated with connections and all that stuff. He was able to dig up pretty quickly that it was a server-side thing and it would be fixed. And within an hour, it sounds like it was pretty much fixed. So we've all got access to it. It is a little scary to think that all that stuff is not really ours, but in reality, all of these licenses can in fact be transferred to your system if you really wanted it to be that way. So you could go offline. I know a lot of people I talked to over the course of the last week or so did not even know that you could in fact transfer your games to your system directly. They thought it was always just an emulation device, so to speak, is the way it was worded. That's not far from the truth. But just something that you can in fact do that. So, Vic VP, I see you in the chat. Thank you for being here, man. It was a pleasure to meet you. I think I've seen your stuff a couple of times, maybe, but to meet you in person and you to be so, you were just awesome. You and I had a kinship right away. We started talking about the Wonderland device, and then we started talking about I want to search for a new pin. You kind of took me through some of that. I know you had some pinball experience buying a table and what that meant. We talked about F-14 Tomcat and a couple others. That was awesome. And we got to play one of my favorites, Independence Day, together, so that was really cool. So, yeah, man. All the pinball and people in here. Well, that's why, you know why, Corner Kate? I'm surprised you're here. This is an exclusive pinball table. I can't even get that right. I screw up a lot of stuff, guys. It's fine. Nobody cares. That's what I say. This is an exclusive pinball channel. So I don't talk arcades. Yes, I have this guy here. I'm selling this anyway. I think I'm going to sell this. This is the Alum, the Legends Ultimate Mini. I never played the thing. I got to get rid of that. I got to put some cash towards a pinball machine. So, and the X Arcade, if the haptics kit isn't fantastic, that will be going as well. So we'll figure it out. The real pinball, get a real pinball machine for $4,500. I know, Mad Ben, you're not kidding, man. And welcome to the stream. I know you were here talking about solenoids earlier, but yeah, $4,500 is insane. Especially if you wanted to buy this thing. You could buy this table, right, for $2,000. Don't buy all the Zaccaria tables. No one's going to do that. Nobody needs all 180 of them, except the crazy people that have been collecting them for the last 2.5 years, like myself. You're probably going to, if you bought the system for $2,000, $2,500, we'll say $2,500 with the sound effects kit, buy all the Zen tables, and you're going to be pretty golden. You could skip on a lot of the Zaccaria tables. You could pick up the Atgames originals that are good. The Rare Pack, for example, Sea of Thieves, Killer Instinct, and Battletoads. People are here nor there on whether or not those are even good or not. But definitely Ninja Turtles is going to be a big one when that comes out, things like that. So anyway, yeah. And then they talked a little bit about the sale. So they have a huge sale as well. These exciting, we're launching on-device purchase celebration sale. 50% off all Atgames published packs and services on October 22nd through the 29th. So in 2 days. So the 22nd is what, Wednesday, right? Exclusivity on your 4K via the App Store. You will have access and 50% off on all the games. So they're all $8. They'll be $4. So if you're going to pick up games for your 4KP or HD, now would be the time. Wait a couple of days and you're going to have those 7 days, that whole week, to just go ape. I know I picked up $36 worth of games, which was actually double that on the HD, on the micro, the last time they did it. And then I was promptly locked out for a few days and I got really upset about that. But they're all working now and I'm very happy with it. So I am going to transfer those licenses specifically to that device because I want to be able to take that device to events such as work and things like that and not have to worry about an internet connection. So I'm going to be doing a ticket for that. But there is little stuff like that as well. So, all right. We have had a tremendous amount of news come out in this week. The chat is banging, so I'd love to see that. Lots of people here. Wonder if Pinball Net is included. So Pinball Net, I was trying to think. I think you're right. I do not see Pinball Net. I know that you always get a month free, but that's not the same. Well, at this point, you wouldn't need it. So if you're thinking about that, so the 180 games that they're offering, you'd already have them all. You wouldn't need Arcade Net. So just think of it that way. Arcade Net would be useless to you because you already have them all. So that's the funny part. Flipper Friends. Let's talk. We're going to talk very briefly about Flipper Friends. I'm not even going to show the tables. I'm just going to show what the games are for this week just because we've got so much to cover. Usually this is filler anyway, so this is the tables for the HD for this week. Operation Wolf is one of those tower defense games, just like Bubble Bobble and Space Invaders. You either like it or hate it. I'm a big fan of Deep Ocean. Literally no one else likes that game. World of Micros is a fantastic game. Hot Wheels is okay. This is the original Hot Wheels, not the remake, which is actually pretty good. And then Primal Carnage Retro is actually probably the best of the Primal Carnage games. So that's cool. I know Pinball Wizard, you mentioned in my Discord earlier today, though, that it would be very interesting to see if they started doing discounts on these games during the week of Flipper Friends. That would be a fantastic thing to do. Really, Human actually loves Deep Ocean. You and I are the only ones. So, what is going on? Are you guys trolling me? Come on now, Soggy Bacon, PG. You guys, seriously, none of you like Deep Ocean. You guys are messing with me. I have mentioned how much I love that table before, and no one ever agrees with me. So I'm completely shocked. Glad I didn't get the Firefighters game the other day for $8. Wish they'd mix up the announcers on those games. Says stop nudging me. Yes. It's good that you didn't. You're going to get it for $4 now, so maybe it's a permanent pinball thing, Pinball Net sub that they're giving you. It's interesting, but Pinball Net is a subscription service, though, so you would have to continually pay for that. So I'm not really sure. I've met a lot of Jasons, Mikes, Jeffs, and Toms. Remind me, please, of your first name. Yeah, and that's where Robert, the Beamy is Robert. So I had to learn that as well. Deep Ocean, top 5 table. Mad Ben, you guys, see, this is what I'm talking about. You guys are messing with me. That would be a smart company promo department would do. Pinball Wizard, you're not wrong, man. So that is the HD, and then the 4K. For whatever reason, can we give the? Why do they give this beautiful graphic for the HD? Has this really nice graphic update, right? It looks good every week, and then they do this for the 4K. They show one table, not even the best one, and then they make you dig into the actual thing to say, okay, yes, it's Dr. Dude, Whitewater, Operation Wolf again, Hot Wheels, and Primal Carnage Retro. Like, why do they do this? Just do the beautiful graphic for the 4K and the HD. Like, can we have some consistency? I don't know. I digress. Anyway, PG says he actually likes Deep Ocean. Okay, fine. Yeah, discounts on Flipper Friends games would be smart. I mean, it would get you to buy the game, but, I mean, if they knew that, they would be like, okay, well, there's going to be certain games that they just don't discount or not put in Flipper Friends for that reason. Would that be so bad? I don't know. Maybe not. So, anyway, that is that. So, let's talk about new cabinets. So, with the announcement that this placard that I showed you, this is considered a new cabinet, so to speak, but it's not the only one. So, let's go to this here and show it. So this is one of the new cabinets, okay? We've never seen this before. This was on this this card here that we showed earlier, right in the very bottom corner here. And BiggyD pointed this out to me. I did not catch this, so good on him. He mentioned to me in the car on the way over to the Expo Center one of the days that, hey, did you realize that there's a new skin, Space Invaders? I'm like, nope, I totally missed that. So that was interesting. So we're going to get a Space Invaders cab, and we're going to get a Ninja Turtles cab. That was announced with the Ninja Turtles update. Very interesting as well. So this was the announcement that came out again on... This was Thursday, right? No, this was Friday again. I'm getting behind again. So this was on Friday, 3 o'clock. Ninja Turtles is announced. Now... I have to laugh about this one because what happened on Thursday at the Chicago Pinball Expo is a certain YouTuber exposed Ninja Turtles to the world and probably shouldn't have done it, but he did, and maybe caused this to be a thing. So I'm going to jump over to a little thing that happened. Here we go, folks. This was at the Chicago Pinball Expo on Thursday. I found the Atgames 4KP, and I found Ninja Turtles on this device. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute here. This is awesome. This was not supposed to be on there. Somebody screwed up, and I played it, didn't think nothing of it. I recorded it. I did probably a 2.5 minute short or something like that. This table is awesome. I played it. I enjoyed it. I took the glare out of the picture so you could actually see the table a little bit. It's awesome, guys. It's a really cool table. It plays really good. It has, it's basically all combos. You can get down to the lower play field and do orbits and some drop shots to complete modes. It's a fun table. You're the Rebel RTX. Yes, I was the Rebel. That certain YouTuber, I apologize, was in fact me. I told the folks at AVS, the company that was had this device, that I didn't think that this table was out yet. I knew it was going to come out in a couple weeks. I actually said to them, I think this is coming out November 1st, but we haven't had any confirmation of the game that it's actually coming out for. But I don't think you should have this on your system yet. But I says, this is going to be on YouTube in a couple hours. So sure enough, by the time I get back to the hotel, I put it up on YouTube. And lo and behold, by Thursday, guess what happened? It was gone. I know Game Fridge went over and tried to play the Ninja Turtle game. I know a couple other people that were at the show went over to that cabinet, looked on there. They thought I was completely pulling their leg. This actually, in fact, happened. Ninja Turtles had to be deleted off the table. We looked at the number of tables. Game Fridge actually made me think of this. He looked at the number of tables here. It says 188 here at the bottom. See there? 188. It was 189 during my short when you look at the video. So they literally deleted this one table off of this machine specifically because that video was posted. They didn't want anybody else playing this game. So I was the first non-beta tester playing Ninja Turtles, so I was kind of excited about that. They did, in fact, delete it, believe it or not. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah, so that table disappeared. So that was a thing. If you want to check out that short, it's a pretty raw gameplay. I'm playing one-handed while trying to record it because I didn't have my tripod with me the first day. I was just kind of wanted to experience everything as it was, so I did not get the best of footage. Had I kept my mouth shut and just played it for 3 days, I probably should have done that. As it was, I was the only one that got to play it and kind of kept that secret to myself. Probably as a journalist, I probably should not have leaked it. So I have to process whether or not that was a good choice or not. But at any rate, they did in fact delete it. Him putting up multiple scores and putting in God it is his name is going to make me do it. So, yes, that was what it was. So Ninja Turtles was a thing. It came out. It did its thing. We seen it come and go, and it was just a crazy day, quite frankly. So with that, with this announcement, it says a couple of the different things we didn't cover. It says Ninja Turtles Pinball is coming to the Legends Pinball lineup. It says it tells you exclusively November 1st, so the table that we thought was November 1st was in fact Ninja Turtles. And it also says that it's coming exclusively to Sam's Club, in-club, and online. Get ready to battle Shredder in style. Now, the one thing it does not tell you, if this is an HD cab or if it's a 4K cab. We do not know, in fact, if it's a 4K cab or not. What we reported before is that there was a Ninja Turtles HDP cabinet coming out that was going to be 1080p only. So, they still did not specify whether or not this is an HDP, a 1080p device, or a 4K device, or the old school HD device. So we still don't know that. That is still up for debate. I guess we will see what happens with that, but it's going to be a thing. Ninja Turtles, as you've probably seen in the chat here, was not the only. It wasn't only released on the Atgames system. It was actually shown that Wonderland is also releasing a Ninja Turtles 3/4 size cabinet in a physical form to mirror Alice Goes to Wonderland, their Wonderland Amusements pinball cab. So that's also coming to that as well. After Alice Goes to Wonderland is released by the end of the year, there's going to be 6 months worth of warranty, and then by the next fall, I think they're going to try to release TMNT. BiggyD actually did a really good interview with I can't remember the guy's name. It's not Scott Miller. It's Scott something, I think. Anyway, he did a really good interview with that. I'll put a link to the description of this video so you can check out that interview that he did with them. It's about 13 minutes long, and they cover a myriad of topics surrounding Alice Goes to Wonderland, and they do talk a little bit about the Ninja Turtles cabinet coming out next year. So there's definitely some news there as well. All right. Man, can you believe this? We're probably not even halfway through the news, but it's just insane, guys. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. So while we talk about that BiggyD release, this is the thumbnail for that video. Anyone interested in the Alice Goes to Wonderland pinball machine, check out their Pinball Expo 2025 interview. This is the interview that was done, and it's awesome. So BiggyD, thank you for doing this. Daniel Grayson is his name. I got to meet him in person. We basically hung out for 3 days, played a lot of pinball. He kind of went his way a couple times. I went my way. We were just trying to cover everything. We all wanted to play Winchester. I wanted to play obscure games like the home edition for Transformers more times than I cared to admit. I played a lot of P3, which I personally really liked. Not everybody does, but you could see by my preference of games and pinball machines that I am Peter Gold. See there, right there is his name. That's the guy. It wasn't Scott. That my preference of games doesn't necessarily match everybody else's, and that's the beautiful thing about pinball. There are plenty of IPs for everybody. So, oh dang, that's right. I'm 2. I forgot I saw that. Peter? Yep. Peter Gold. You're right, BiggyD. Joel with a question mark? Nope. It was Peter. Yeah, I think they got that. Glad to see the 50% discount and 4K finally getting some love on the big sale. Yeah, stop nudging me. You're not kidding, man. And Steps, BiggyD with the excellent content. See? Yeah, absolutely he was. BiggyD actually did a lot more content that was more refined, if you will. I don't do a lot of refined content. You see, when I expected full well to... I took my tripod. I took my little micro tripod. I was going to do some nice coverage of pinball tables, and I just didn't feel right throwing a tripod up and trying to record video, especially later in the week when there were so many people there wanting to play pinball tables. I didn't really want to get in the way of other people. Maybe that's not the approach that I should have taken as far as the channel goes. But for me, I thought that shorts made more sense, and I really wanted to experience this Pinball Expo as it was. So I didn't do it, enough of that content. I will promise to do more of that in the future at the local arcades and get some better coverage for you guys for actual real pins, but it was definitely something to talk about. Okay, so that was that. Wonderland Pinball. If we want to talk about that, I mean, what was to talk about it? Wonderland Pinball... You know, BiggyD, you had a different opinion than I did, certainly. I played it. I had all kinds of issues with the thing, quite frankly. I didn't like a lot of things on it. I don't want to go into too much detail with it. I already talked about it quite a bit on my channel in shorts and different things. And I did talk about it in the Pinball Expo video, so I won't talk about it too much here, other than to say that it had a lot of problems with it. Last year, the flippers were too weak to get the ball up the ramp. But remember, this is a 3/4 scale device, so they're dealing with a smaller ball. So this is a full-size pinball. They're not using a full-size pinball in this cabinet. They're using a 3/4 size pinball. So the weight is different, the distribution is different, angles and power and solenoid issue, all the voltages, everything's different. So this is a completely new platform. I think they got it pretty well defined now, but they're not using standard parts. So if something goes wrong on this thing, you're going to be talking to Wonderland Amusements directly to get those parts. You have a 6-month warranty with this device. The Kickstarter has already been done and paid for, but if you want a device, you can still get one on wonderlandamusements.com with an S. He did mention that, if you were interested in one of these devices. I've seen he did replace one of the flippers during the show, and again, this is we have to remember, this is the worst case scenario for a pinball machine. You're getting continuous play for the most part for 8 hours, and in this case, almost 12 hours of continuous gameplay from 10 to midnight, or 10 to 10, 10 to 11, somewhere in there, 11 to 10. You're getting a lot of play. So we're talking worst case scenario as far as heat goes and number of plays. So I take that with a grain of salt. I expect some things to break down, no matter what system you were looking at. I even had Winchester broke down right in front of me at one point. They popped that open, did a couple of changes to it, and got it going again. So it's not just Wonderland. It's all pinball machines that are physical. There is a heavy ball being thrown around with violent force in this controlled environment. So I understand that there's going to be issues with a lot of stuff. Flippers are going to die. In this case, a flipper died. He replaced it on the spot, and it was up and running in an hour. One of these, the code wasn't right, so the audio wasn't working on one of these. The other one, the audio was perfect, and you could hear all the call-outs. The DMD works really, really good. You have really good animations. I don't know if I show those. Animations look really, really good on here. Here, let me show this here. So here is the table. You could see a little bit back here on the back column. This is the Ninja Turtles that was revealed. So this is back here, kind of hidden, but it's there. The table itself is quite pretty. The materials used are much better than they've seen in the past. These are fully molded plastics as opposed to 3D printed materials. If you take 3 shots up the card ramp, the castle lights up, and if you go up the green ramp there to the right, the Cheshire Cat eyes light up, and you got different things like that. You collect 9 of the components around the table. It is what it is. It's a different experience. It's a very simple game, quite frankly. It's not gonna. It is what it is, right? It's not going to be somebody who is Travis Muni, for example, is not going to dig this game. He's not going to pick this up and go gangbusters and go play an IFP game on this. It's just not. This is a home edition, essentially, for a family who wants to play physical pinball in their home at a budget discount rate and something that they can enjoy for a long, long time. So I do think there is some interesting stuff on here that could be... I want them to succeed, quite frankly. I think this table size and format and price could be very beneficial to be a gap between people who just want to get into the hobby. They can start to learn how to fix things. There's a lot they can do with that. I know Vic and I and BiggggyD, we all went over, dug into the underside of this pinball table later on a couple different times. So here is the underside here. I'm going to switch over to this image here instead. This is Vic actually showing me the underside of the pinball table, and he talked a little bit about the coils and stuff, how easy things would be to disconnect and fix up, and how if you did a couple of Allen wrench keys, you could swap out that flipper pretty easily. You could swap out a solenoid. Pretty easy stuff. So that gave me a little reassurance that yes, this could in fact be something that I could in fact handle and change and learn, quite frankly, and then get a large scale pin at a later date. It is what it is, man. It was getting repaired a lot. That was my biggest concern, is that, and Gamer Fridge, thank you for putting that in the chat. I do think that there was a lot of repairs being done. At one point, the flippers completely died on the one pin. One other time, the auto nudge was not working. So, or I'm sorry, not the auto nudge, the auto plunge. I apologize. The auto plunge was not working. So you'd have to, even on a ball save, you'd have to hit a button on the top and the front of the cabinet to get the ball to kick out, and then you'd have to plunge the plunger. So that's really disappointing. It really needs to have an auto plunge, and it needs to be able to recognize that. There was some things with the code where if the safe light was actually staying, this safe light at the bottom here would actually stay lit, and it wasn't telling you that it was a extra ball. It was telling you that you had a ball save, which is not consistent with what we're used to. We're used to seeing that flashing as being a ball save. So there's some little tweaks that they need to do. I hope that does in fact get fixed. They should be able to code an auto plunge. Amiga, that might be true, and thank you for coming to the chat. I don't think I've seen you before. The one thing I don't know is if that even has the ability to do an auto plunge because of the way the plunger is. It's just spring loaded. If it does, awesome. I didn't see it, and maybe I just wasn't thinking about it. But it's a good thing to say. You've owned several 3/4 scale pinball machines in the past, and none of them were accessible for repairs. If they broke, you were screwed. Okay. See, there's another, and thank you, Cami, Amiga Cami. That's a great point. Not accessible. So this one is accessible, but you're using non-standard parts. So, then where's a game code and modes working? The modes were working. The code is working. This was all hardware issues that I seen. So it is what it is, man. I would love to see... Not auto plunge. They probably can't do that, but it would just be a regular plunger. Okay. So, yeah, there's definitely some stuff to talk about with that. I would love to see this thing succeed. I don't want to give anybody the impression that I want this thing to fail. I don't want any company to fail if they're providing us with pinball. I love pinball. I want things to succeed. I love the P3. It's completely different. It was a completely new idea. Relatively, it's successful. They've made a lot of modules. They're continuing to sell. They're not in arcades, which is a concern, just because they're so different. So that's a thing. This is another thing, and it's very cheap, and it could go in your home. And this could be, if this got to be good and everybody loved them, it could be another arcade 1-up. And we look at one arcade 1-up now and we go, oh, they were all junk and we shouldn't have bought them. They were the most popular thing around not too long ago, and everybody wanted them. So if these are pinball machines and they got good and they had some really good IPs and they were $800, $900, $1,000, people would buy them. I mean, I could put 2 or 3 of these in my home with a good IP and really enjoy them if they work. I don't want to have to fix them all the time. If I have to do that, I'm going to sell one or two and I'm going to go get a real pin. And I'm just going to work on that. You know, that's going to be the choice for me. So, is it what it's going to be? Did you play and get to the wizard mode? Mad Ben, no. Come on. The wizard mode, there's so much. I would have had to sit and... I don't think the table would have lasted that long anyway, quite frankly. I think that it would have broke down during gameplay. I think there was... I think heat was a serious concern for the flippers, for the solenoids and the coils and stuff. I think that was a concern. I don't know what they're going to do about that, quite frankly. So, getting to the wizard mode... I know Beat Kong, I think it was Beat Kong. Didn't he did some really good... gameplay of this not too long ago, where it looked like he was actually progressing through the modes pretty quickly. So there might be a stream out there where somebody actually did in fact get to the wizard mode. I would love to see that, quite frankly. So it was getting a lot of use for a home machine. Absolutely, BiggggyD. And I know you're going to defend it. I'm going to be on the wait and see approach on this thing. I haven't really talked a ton about this device, but now that I've played it, all of my fears are kind of confirmed that it's just not ready for the big time. I hope that it is. I really want them to succeed. The price point is amazing, and I would love to see this thing do really, really well. And then TMNT, no question, I would buy it without fail. If this thing runs and it does a good job, TMNT will be in my home, and that's a no-brainer. So, it is what it is. But as it is, Wonderland has its issues. We all knew it had issues. We're all concerned about it. And it's warranted, quite frankly. So, it is what it is, man. So we talked a little bit about, we've talked firmware, we've talked licenses, we've talked Flipper Friends briefly. We covered the new cabinets. We've covered X-Arcade to a point. I did do some X-Arcade quite a bit. That was one of the first things that I did. I got to meet Abby and Josh. They were awesome. They answered all kinds of questions. And again, I talk about all this stuff in the Chicago Pinball Expo stuff too, so I don't want to go too into detail. All I can say is it's a really good device. The solenoids sound amazing. The left and right nudges are really good. Forward nudge is too slow. If you're going to try to do a digipass or a nudge pass, is what some people call it, the digital ones that we like to do from left to right, if you've cradled the ball and you do a forward nudge and you punch it over to the other side, you can do that. You know, if you hold it, you let go of the flipper, and then you forward nudge, you'll have time to get that ball to go over to the other side, no problem. Now, if it's going down the in lane at full speed and you try to forward nudge, it's going to be too late. It's just not quick enough. It's not responsive enough to register that forward nudge accurately enough. I was trying to do forward nudges, and more times than not, it would give me a side nudge instead of a forward nudge, and so it was not doing what I needed to, and I would lose the ball. So that happened a lot. The accelerometer in that case, I think, is going to be a little bit of a concern. I know they put the new feet on it. I don't know, man. I don't know that I think I'm pretty strong. So I smack the thing and it moves on my current feet. So I don't know that putting those adaptive feet on there are going to make a difference for me. And then the other thing that wasn't fixed as of yet is the plunger is a digital plunger. It is not fully calibrated yet. So they're still working with Pinball FX to get that working. I played Elvira first. And I was like, every time I pulled the plunger, it didn't do anything. It wouldn't plunge the ball. You had to pull the plunger all the way back, let it digitally come all the way back, and then let go. So it was like a button to be able to plunge for Elvira. When I played Getaway, if you know anything about Getaway, if you just push the button, it'll fire the ball off. So I could just pull the plunger one time and it fired it and it was fine. So that's going to get fixed. Apparently, they're working with Pinball FX, and that should be addressed by the end of the year. You were getting flipper lag with Gamer Fridge was getting flipper lag on it. I didn't really notice that. I felt like the flippers were pretty good. I will say the MetaQuest 3 as of late, I've noticed this even with the hand controllers, that I play a lot with those as well. I'm getting stuttering in my headset with frame rates. I don't know if that's a heat issue, but I seem to be getting more stuttering issues, a little more frame rate issues, in general. It used to be rock solid. It is not that case anymore. So I don't know that that's an X-Arcade thing. I think it might just be the MetaQuest at that point. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on that. And yeah, BiggggyD, thank you for that. It is going to ship. Originally, this was going to ship in November. And then I heard late November. And then I heard early December. Josh and Abby both said that this would probably ship out the end of December. So if we get it by Christmas time, that would be awesome. Hopefully that gets done and gets fixed and gets out to be able to install them. You may need to reset your headset. I do that a lot, BiggggyD. Like my headset doesn't, I clear out the cache. You know, I think you're referring to the cache. I reset my headset all the time, so I don't know that that's an issue, but man, I don't know. We'll see. That's a big thing. RTX, what did you think of the Real VPX? Real VPX, we can talk about that for a second. I did play that. Real VPX was awesome. So the guy, let's see, I'll show his business card here, the pinballcabinet.com. The biggest part about this guy is sadly his device was way on the very far right of the expo hall. So nobody really, I don't think a lot of people seen his device. I wish he was more in the middle and people would have caught it. It was absolutely incredible. It was a 42-inch OLED display. The accelerometer on that thing was perfect. Right, left, forward nudge, everything was perfect. He builds these cabinets from scratch. This was an awesome display. It was an awesome, it has knockers. It has, maybe not knockers, but it has a sound effects kit, so to speak. It has solenoids. It was a wonderful experience. They're pricey, though. They're expensive. So the Beamy, you already have a true 4K VPX level device that does all this stuff. So you'd be probably the best judge of it. I don't remember if you went over and played his or not, if that was a thing. But it's a awesome. And the one thing I did like about his is that it actually maintains the glass height on the angle that we're used to. On the 4KP, when you step up to the device, the glass is actually slanted like a true pinball surface is. The other pinball VPX device that I played on the back of the expo hall actually had a additional DMD in the playfield, which actually depressed the glass so that it was actually further down than the angle that you would play it at, and it made everything look very flat. So that did not look good. I think the 4KP has been a very good medium when you look at that. When you look at the device, they've adjusted the POVs on the 4KP to be accurate to the way you look at the table. So I thought that this looked incredibly flat compared to the 4KP, which is obviously the device that we've all come to love so much. So yeah, and the Beamy, you're mentioning the same thing. The display needed to be tilted down a little more. And you're talking about the pinball cabinet one. So yeah, I mean, we all have a little bit varying opinions on that. So that's interesting. I've had to do it. My family in mini golf had to do it. Rascal had to do it as well. Full reset. Yeah, I do that. I don't reinstall Walkabout mini golf or any of that, or Pinball FX. But thanks for all the coverage this weekend at the event. Wow, TMNT leak was pure gold. Way too fast for you. Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, it was a fun thing. I didn't expect it to kind of blow up, but it was later that night that I found out that Michael B. and James Hit Everything had both done coverage of TMNT and expressly showed my video on their stream. So that was really awesome. It probably did pull some traffic to my channel as well, so I really appreciate that. I don't know if you guys have noticed, before I left for... when I left for the Pinball Expo, I had 466 subscribers. If you look now, I am now at 503, believe it or not. It just happened. I was at 499 before this stream. I'm at 503. So incredible. I cannot believe this channel has 500 subscribers. 500 people actually want to listen to what I have to say about pinball. So that is incredible. I am so happy. It just kind of blows my mind, guys. It's wow. I like I said, I never expected any of this to happen. I had 4 subscribers when I started this channel last October, and it's just been absolutely incredible. So Holy crap, man. I mean, I know we were sitting at BiggyD and I, Steps, and the Beamy were all sitting at dinner yesterday. About 5 o'clock or so. We're eating a Chicago pizza. And I'm like, yeah, I got like 488. Yeah, was it four? It was 488, I think. We talked about it. I needed like 12 more people to subscribe to be at 500. And I was like, I couldn't even fathom that it was happening that fast. So hope you're writing that trip off on your taxes. No, Leon, that's not how it works. I wish, man. That's not a thing. Dennis B's wife was 500. Yeah, all right. Awesome. I appreciate it. Mine has an extra LCD in the back, but it doesn't bother me. It actually makes it easier to see the ball. The Beamy's talking about his VPX device. So we need to get some pictures of that, the Beamy. Put that in my Discord, man. I'd love to see this device, what it actually looks like. I think you might have done it in the past, and I want to definitely check that out. Glad I saw your stream on my feed. I just subscribed today. Awesome. Thank you, Amiga Cami. That's incredible. Thank you so much. You're one of so many that have subscribed in the last few days, and I hope that my channel meets your guys' needs for the pinball stuff. So, incredible. Woof! I should have got some water, but I did not do that, so I am parched, believe it or not. We got a couple more things to cover, and then we'll get you out of here. We've already been doing this for an hour. I cannot believe this. I knew we had a lot to cover, but all right. With the TMNT update, Douglas Wurzberger on one of the Facebook groups had mentioned with this new announcement with Atgames and Paramount, what insight on tables are possible with the collaboration together. He's referring to the fact that TMNT is a Paramount IP, which signifies that there's going to be other IPs that they may have access to. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, it means that we're probably going to get something like a Rugrats. Who would like a Rugrats? Could we get SpongeBob? Those are IPs that we would love to have on the 4KP. They would be Magic Pixel developed IPs or tables. So whether or not you like Magic Pixel tables or not, that could be a discussion, and I totally get that. They are not for everybody. I think they're really good for the average pinball consumer. They're not for us high-end players, other than we just like to go gangbusters, find an exploit, find a multi-ball, and just put 1 billion points on that thing. That is what Magic Pixel tables are for. So SpongeBob would be amazing. What other IPs would we see? Anybody know what everything else Paramount does? This is something I really should have looked up beforehand. I know Rugrats and SpongeBob were two that were mentioned. So there's a lot that are out there. TMNT art just dropped. Is that true? No kidding. MSRP for $1,000. Okay, let's just do it. Let's see what I can find real quick. I will jump on the Atgames, probably on their Facebook, because it's always on their Facebook. Let's take a look. If that's the case, that would be hilarious that they did it on air. No, I don't see it. Are you talking Sam's Club? Probably Sam's Club. But man, oh man. I don't even think do I have a login for that? Transformers? Ren and Stimpy. Oh, see, Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy would have to be a mature table. Because they're too disgusting for the average folks. But yeah, that would be a thing. So we do have the Atgames system here on Sam's Club. Let's see here. I'll let you guys see this. So this is just the standard 4KP, $1,600 with Pinball Net. Are we seeing this somewhere? You guys texted me the photo. What the heck? Like we're doing it live, folks. We're doing it live. I'm like Lonzo Ball here. Can you believe this stuff? Like, where are you getting this stuff? Luckily, I have a folding phone. I tell you what. So, where is this shown? This is BiggyD. He sent me this picture of the Turtles cabinet. Shows it as $1,000. It is regularly $1,200. So, is this an HD cabinet? This looks like an HD cabinet, doesn't it? No, that's a 4K. It's got the overhang on the back of the device. Whoops. So you can see that the very back of the device, the back glass actually overhangs the back edge. So we can tell that that's a 4K device. So that is good news. Awesome. Man, so breaking news right on the stream. Transformers, I would love Gamer Fridge. Man, I would love a Transformers. In fact, you know that I went gangbusters on that Transformers Home Edition this week. I love that table. I wanted it. It was only $2,000. If I had it, I would have bought it. I would have taken it home. Ren and Stimpy we talked about. Beavis and Butthead, yeah, that's not happening. Beavis and Butthead would have to be a VPX table only. I can't imagine them ever doing an IP of that. But man, it does look better, BiggyD. You're not wrong. That cabinet you just showed me, and I wish I had. If you had sent that to Discord or something, I'd have a better picture of it to show everybody. But 4KP for $1,000, gotta get one. Yeah, it's gonna be stripped down. It's not gonna have the sound effects kit, so that's gonna be something that's gonna be a problem. I don't know, man. To me, I would much rather get one with the sound effects kit if I had to have it. But yeah. So there's that. So that's big news. Let's talk about this real quick. This is a quick one that came out. There's nothing much to say about it other than the Zaccaria Pinball now released is now out of beta. They released on Steam now. So that is a thing. All the tables have been updated. The interface has been updated. They updated all the DMDs. If you're a Zaccaria Pinball fan on Steam, this is big news. They have some really cool live tournaments where you can spectate the other players in the party. So I've been able to play this with, I think I played this with Pinball Wizard. Who else did I play this with? It's been quite a few weeks now. But I was in the beta for this, and the interface is really cool. They did a lot of good stuff. All these tables are available through VR as well. So I played them in VR on my X Arcade as well with the MetaQuest 3, and it looks awesome. So Top Gun is a Paramount IP. Oof. What I wouldn't do for a Top Gun, that would be fantastic. Holy crap, man. That would be awesome. It does look better. You're actually right. You're talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cab that came out. The replay option for high-scoring games is awesome. Soggy Bacon, that's a cool feature. That's the Zaccaria Pinball feature as well. They're doing a lot of cool things on Steam Pinball right now that I wish 4KP was capable of. But I think that rock chip is really holding them back. All right, so I seen this on the Facebook market, or not Facebook Marketplace. This is the Facebook Atgames groups. Somebody added a jukebox to their pinup popper, and they actually were able to get music videos and a jukebox display on their 4KP. Is this not the coolest thing you'd ever seen? And I know you guys are going crazy in the chat for different things, but I had to show this. I thought this was a really cool thing. This is not attract mode like I thought. I thought it was just an attract mode. He had just done some music and did a jukebox thing like this. He actually did a jukebox through Pinup Popper so that it actually is able to play different music. Pretty cool feature. And now that I'm thinking about it, well, why couldn't you just do this with attract mode? I mean, it'd be a lot of data, right? That would be the biggest thing. Data would be probably the biggest issue between the music assets. The bottom one would be pretty easy. That would just be a scrolling picture of a jukebox. That's pretty easy with a record or something. But the top would just be a music video with some music. It'd be pretty simple to do. This one, they didn't even activate the DMD. Why have a third screen? But yeah, this is the stuff that people are creative and are coming up with for this community. One thing I did not talk about is I bought mirror blades. So I'm going to be installing those. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll see if I have time. But I bought mirror blades from Chris Chisholm. I was able to meet him at the Gaming Expo. So we met up. I bought those mirror blades, and then we went to lunch yesterday. So that was that. Man. Let's get back into the chat, see if I missed anything. Is it confirmed that Zen tables will release on the TMNT machine? Stop nudging me. I think that's confirmed by the picture that BiggyD just sent. That does, in fact, look like a 4KP because of the back glass. The HD system, the back glass was completely the same size as the cabinet. So with that overhang, it signifies that it's a 4K cabinet. So yes, the 4K the Zen tables would be available on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinet. I think that can be confirmed based on that. Didn't play that with me. I don't VR. Oh, okay. No, I didn't say you played with VR for Zaccaria Pinball. I'm saying that Zaccaria Pinball does VR. That's how I played it. I was playing in VR. I think you guys were playing just on Steam. But we were playing in the tournament thing, which was actually really cool. So yeah, I've always wanted my home arcades to double as a jukebox, to be honest. Well, there you go, Amiga. That is an option for you. And I thought it was a really cool thing that I had never seen before. And I'm like, holy cow, now that is pretty innovative, pretty exciting. And I love that we continue to do new things. We use this cabinet for a lot of different things. I've used mine for vertical shooter games. I actually did a stream on that, believe it or not. You can play Donkey Kong on this thing. You can play Pac-Man on this thing. You can do any coin ops game in vertical mode. It doesn't have to be vertical, but that's the best way to do it. I've attached my Legion Go to this and played Zero Ranger, a modern vertical shooter. You could play Ikaruga on this thing, no problem. Anything Tate. You could do Downwell, which would be fantastic. Even though it's pixel art, it would look fantastic on this device. So, anyway, guys, that is the amount of content that we covered today. We've done this for over an hour today, believe it or not. Like I said, if you cannot get enough pinball talk as we already did, definitely check out my Pinball Expo video. That's another whole hour of content where I talked about every experience that I had. I talked about the content creator seminar that I went to and all the people that I met. I was able to meet the people from the Loser Kid podcast. I met Joel and Jared from the Flippin' Out podcast. I met Aaron Schroeder from Grown Up Adjacent. If you've ever seen his channel, he does some really cool vertical and horizontal gameplay of real pins. And there was just a lot of people that I met and was able to get to know. Vic, obviously I met you, BiggyD, Game Fridge, The Beamy, Steps Gaming, all of you. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you guys. Chris Chisholm, I've never seen you in my chat. I think he's just on Facebook, but it was awesome to meet him as well. High energy dude. He was ready to go. He fired those off. He was so eager to get into the show, he almost didn't charge me for the mirror blades, and I had to stop him and say, dude, let me pay you. So, at any rate, Leon, yes, I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys all for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time tonight to do this. I did put a poll on my YouTube group, or on my YouTube channel, suggesting whether or not Sunday night is the right night for this show or whether it needs to be Wednesday night. I see by the fact that I had over 30 people in this stream tonight that maybe Sunday is the perfect night. But let me know in that poll if you haven't already. And we will look forward to a new week. Hopefully we can get Elvira this week. That's the rumor, that we'll get them on Thursday. Hopefully that's the case. My voice is about to go, so I'm going to drop off. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time to be here with me tonight. And remember, you only need one ball for greatness. Keep plunging. Now, 3 is preferred, but you take what you get. Thanks again, guys. We will see you next time on RTX Pinball. See ya. Retro